Yep. So as predicted on this show, the Warriors adjust. It's what they do better than anybody in the league. That AD would come back down to earth, that the extra rest, the 2.5 days of extra rest for the Lakers, which were so big in the first half of game one, they would look much more even. And that the Lakers, if AD's not rolling, have a very low ceiling on offense. And boy, is that true. Watching the media and fans react and overreact to a Warriors loss has become an annual tradition in May and June. Kerr and Eric Spoelstra, this is what they do. Now it's up to Darvin Ham. The Warriors also do something that only championship teams or dynasties usually do consistently well. They don't overreact. They don't let a moment or a game become 2 or 3 games of issues. They're resilient. They're smart. There's a lot of different chess pieces, and there is a chess against checkers component in this series. The way the Warriors play is creative and artistic, but the way they methodically build a game plan is systemic and formulaic. It's very much Apple in the Silicon Valley. Creative and dynamic, but yet as a business, methodical. That's what the Warriors are. They don't let their creative impulses overrun like artists can tend to do. They don't get too impulsive. They don't let one bad moment become a second or a third. They take the emotion out of it, and they just break you down methodically. So Steve Kerr said, okay, the Lakers are dominating us inside. What do? Let's get smaller. Huh? Yes. Looney out. Draymond on AD. Let's get smaller. Let's play faster. They weren't going to go toe-to-toe with the Lakers side. So they said, we're not as big. We can't grow. They won't shrink. Let's just get smaller and faster and push the pace and get our shooters spread out around the floor, and the Lakers couldn't hang. Steph Curry went old school point guard with assists. Draymond latched on to AD. So they went smaller, got faster, and the Lakers were overwhelmed. Like there's certain things you can do in a series and to manipulate the same personnel. And I thought they did it last night. The Warriors ended up having a massive rebounding edge. They made AD get up and down the floor. Now 2.5 days extra rest. AD didn't have it. You watch LeBron. Pretty effective, right? He had a nice night, efficient, had no impact. AD, virtually no impact. So we said after game one, take a deep breath. Kerr's going to look at the film. As J-Mac predicted, get Looney off the floor, get smaller even on AD, spread out the shooters, and that's what they did. And now it's up to Darvin Ham to make a chess move. But again, this is not a deep offensive reservoir for the Lakers. They got 1 day full rest. Next afternoon they play. To me, the Lakers have to make hay in game 3. If they don't win tomorrow, and again, LeBron played a lot of minutes. AD played probably 10 minutes more than he should have. The game was a blowout middle of the third. Take your guys off. It's 2s versus 3s. You're not going to win this night. This was the chess match going to Steve Kerr. He talked about Steph Curry going old school, passing, spreading the floor out, and getting guys like Clay and Wiggins and everybody else good looks.
He's so unselfish. 12 assists tonight. He's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Just the way things were clicking. I think Steph was very content just, being a more traditional point guard and, 20 assists or 20 points and 12 assists. That's a pretty good line for a point guard.
Yes, it is. So this is what they do. They've got this reservoir of intelligence and resilience and playoff experience. Sacramento felt like through 3 games, woo, Sacramento's the better team. Boston last year in the finals through 3 games, woo, they're the better team. Nobody can change how they play, their lineup, their size, their resilience. This is why they're a dynasty. They've looked dead in multiple series. They looked overmatched in game 1. And instead of trying to bang at the Lakers' advantage, They got smaller and faster, and the Lakers were utterly overwhelmed and had no answers. In my argument, they played AD too many minutes. All right, and let's go to that. So there's something called game score. It's an analytic in the NBA. It's almost like passer rating in the NFL. And it shows you that when Anthony Davis is great, the Lakers are 5-0. When Anthony Davis is good, they're 5-1. When he's okay, they're a 500 team. These are not LeBron's Lakers. It is official. They are not. This is AD's team. This Laker team last night got a very strong game from LeBron. No turnovers, 10 of 18 shooting, played a lot of minutes, and they got rolled. LeBron's no longer an elite defender. He hangs out by the three-point line. This team is AD's team, and they'll be as good as AD is. When he's great, and we predicted with just a day's rest, he would come way back down to earth. He was still elite defensively, but the Warriors didn't challenge him there. They didn't let him be as dominating a force. Did you notice Steph, Draymond pulling up for free throw jumpers? So last night's a great example. There are some things you can do with a quarterback. Like you can make him more accurate or consistent, but you can't make a quarterback larger. You can't make him more athletic. You can't make him more intelligent. And with AD, the question is, does he have the alpha? LeBron in his prime embraced it. So did MJ. So did Kobe. They embraced it. With AD, and this is now officially his team, all the analytics tell you, is he physically capable of being the man every night? He's not. It's his 11th year in the league. There's things you can do to alter or improve a quarterback. You can't make him taller. Yeah, you can't make him more athletic. There are ceilings. And I think there's a passion ceiling and an intensity ceiling to AD's personality and his body. You're not going to get 70 games. You're not going to get 65 games. You're not going to get 20 straight great playoff games. That's not who he is. LeBron in his prime almost never had a bad game. I mean, you go back to LeBron for about a 10-year period. You can count on one hand in 10 years the average playoff games. He once got crap in Cleveland, and I forget who they were playing. It may have been Boston, where his owner said he kind of quit on the team. He had like 28 points and 12 assists and great defense. I mean, LeBron was held to such a high standard. With AD, it's the opposite. After a great game, we all go, okay, he's coming back down to earth. So he's not physically 11 years in the league going to change. This is what he is. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a really good guy. I think he's really gifted. I think when he's healthy and on, he's a top 5 player in the league. And he's almost always good defensively. But the Warriors last night said, we're not going to let you dominate defensively. We're going to pull up. We're not going to challenge at the rim. We're going to take away that dominance. And they did. And they forced him to get up and down the floor. And he didn't have 2.5 days rest. So the question now is, and that's why every time I throw out a sell AD high, okay, this is what he is. You are getting an incredibly viable long stretch of healthy, passionate AD. You think you're going to get 65 games next year of that? Like, this is the height of it. And when he's good, he's really good. But if you look at sports, NFL, NBA, the great example is Juju Smith-Schuster, who's not close to AD as a player. Chiefs used him for a year, moved on, and the Patriots are suckers and signed him for 3. This sport, these leagues are GMs and the smarter teams knowing when to move off really good players who have peaked, or buying players when people are bailing on them. People bailing on Andrew Wiggins. Warriors came in and said, no. He's a great player in our system, right? Rudy Gobert, T-Wolves, 9 players, They got worked by Utah, and Utah ended up being much better than we thought. So the AD thing, whenever I suggest, be very careful about falling in love with AD, fall in like with AD. And the dilemma for the Lakers, though, this is now his team. LeBron was very, very efficient last night. 0 impact. When AD was highly efficient in game 1, he won the game. He controlled the game. So that's the dilemma for the Lakers, is it's now AD's team. He's the better player. His ceiling is top 5 in the league. LeBron is no longer, when he's on, like game 1 of the series, he's the best defensive player on the floor. He's as good as any offensive player on the floor. He literally eliminates your interior game. I mean, the Warriors' entire game 2 game plan, the Warriors' game plan last night was all based on AD. Don't challenge him at the rim. Okay, so the offense was shoot threes and 2. Do not go to the basket. Let's take Looney off the floor. We're not even going to challenge AD size-wise. And then defensively, let's make him get out and run and cover. The whole game plan wasn't about LeBron or Rui or Austin Reed. The whole game plan was the Warriors told you based on last night's game plan who concerns them. AD. What concerns the Lakers, or at least should, is how many nights a year can he be the man? Because in a 7-gamer, if you get 4, that's good enough. You win the game. But this is not LeBron's team anymore. It is not. It's AD's. And last night, you got a shadow of AD game 2 from game 1, and they got completely, utterly rolled. By the way, Steve Kerr talked about Draymond defending AD last night.